It is the Sunday after Alabama 66, Chattanooga 10. It is second watch right here on the YouTube and podcast homes for BamaOnLine.com. Travis Reier, senior analyst for BOL, back with you, this time following the Crimson Tide's 10th win of the 2023 campaign. That's 16 straight seasons with 10 wins or more for Nick Saban coached Alabama teams. Probably one of the very most undervalued accomplishments of his tenure in Tuscaloosa. And what we're going to talk about today is the latest win. And we'll get things started right here on the opening possession of the game for Alabama. Alabama with the football first. Nice return by Kendrick Law out over the 30-yard line. And the Crimson Tide in 12 personnel with Robbie Oots split out behind Jermaine Burton, at least momentarily. You got C.J. Dupree at the other tight end spot. Isaiah Bond split out wide to the top. Jace McClellan offset to the left of starting quarterback Jalen Milroe. And so as we run it here, if you're Tennessee Chattanooga, you're thinking, yeah, this is probably going to be that inside zone, maybe duo to McClellan, because you watch the defenders for Chattanooga here at the snap. Here comes Oots across the formation, but instead of a run play, Oots is in pass protection. And as we roll it here, look at all of these Chattanooga defenders up in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. So behind it, there's probably going to be some opportunities because even some of the defensive backs that you can't see in this picture have come up, have taken a step up, have basically committed to this being a run. Jace McClellan leaks out to the right flat, but Milroe is going deep. And it looked like he slipped a little bit there on his plant foot, but still able to get it out there to Jermaine Burton, who, of course, missed the game against Kentucky last week due to illness. And it is an explosive play for the Crimson Tide offense to get things going. And here we go. 3rd and 4 for Alabama from just outside the UTC 5-yard line. You see the stat there. Alabama with 11 straight trips inside the red zone that have gone for touchdowns. Boy, Alabama has really gotten that touchdown conversion rate up a good bit over the last 3 or 4 games. Before that stretch, pretty much middle of the pack in the SEC, if not lower half of the SEC. But that number has risen dramatically, and you're going to see it go up one more time here as Milroe will take the snap. And you've got pretty good protection here from a 5-man pass pro against a 4-man pass rush. And Jalen is going to zip it in there to Jermaine Burton for the touchdown. Nice job by Jermaine here. You'll see the window open and Jalen pretty much on time. This ref right here, he's got a duck, but look at that catch. Little bit behind Jermaine Burton, still uses those hands to secure it and also finish the play. It's a quick touchdown for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and it's a 7-0 lead. One more time there to Jermaine Burton. This was an interesting play for Chattanooga on its opening possession. This is a 3rd down, and Terrion Arnold doing some good stuff one more time. Watch the right hand for Terrion right there. Gets that ball up in the air. Now it's anybody's football. Devontae Smith back in the lineup. Saw him a little bit at Kentucky last week. Of course, he's had the injury situation that's kept him off the field for well into the second half of the season. And this almost could have gone for an explosive for Chattanooga's Sam Phillips, but he's not able to come up with it there. And so Alabama now with the football once again, 10:59 left in the first quarter. It's 11 personnel with Amari Nyblack flex to the right and that H roll a little bit. And as we'll run it here on 3rd and 5, you'll see Jalen do a nice job of taking what's available to him. You'll see the back release out here, and this linebacker goes with the back. And so you've got a corner squatting down here and a little bit of a trap coverage, and you insert Nyblack there into the hole because you only need 5 yards. Jalen gets the ball out nicely, and now Amari's going to get an extra 10, 12, 13, 14 yards after first contact. Once again, drills it in. Nyblack able to move the chains, and the Crimson Tide on 3rd down remains at a high level of play in conversion plays. A little bit later in the possession, now it's a 1st and 10. This is actually after the Nyblack catch, and this is going to be play action. And this is a concept we've seen Alabama work very successfully probably remember this maybe more so for Kobe Prentice against LSU a couple of weeks ago with trips to the field. This time it's Jermaine Burton in the slot there, nearest to the left tackle, Caden Proctor. And again, this is another byproduct of really good protection because look at this against the four-man pass rush. You need time for these to develop, and that's what Jalen gets. And he's going to take the deep ball to Jermaine Burton. Very well thrown. Again, you look at the protection, good shape there. Dupree sits it down in the middle of the field, but look at Jermaine Burton up on the safety. He's on his toes, as they say. And once that happens, separation is usually what comes next. That is the case. Very nice ball. Jermaine probably thinks, I got to score on that. Maybe should have scored on that. So it sets up a first and goal. Here's Alabama in 14 personnel. They'll go with four tight ends in this situation down inside the 5. And it's going to be Jace McClellan pretty much on a straight give. And when you watch this sort of play out, you see Jaden Roberts go into the end zone. You see J.C. Latham into the end zone. So you got to think Jason McClellan's right there with those guys. He's not, though. He gets stoned a little bit there at about the half-yard line. But one thing they don't have in college football is fast whistles. In the NFL, this is blown dead, at least right here. In college football, they let him play, and that's what Jason McClellan continues to do there. Gets a little bit of an assist, it looks like. See Danny Lewis right here? Looks like Danny's maybe carrying Jace a little bit into the end zone. It is an Alabama touchdown there, and it goes to 14-0. You see it again here. Watch Jaden Roberts right there. He's 3 yards into the end zone. Jace C. Latham looks to be in good shape, but it takes a little extra. And thankfully, again, in college football, that whistle isn't fast and coming. 1st and 10 now for Luke Schomburg, the backup quarterback for UTC from the Huntsville area, making his first college start. Maybe by the time this goes up, maybe UTC will have found out its FCS playoff fate. I know they were kind of a bubble team, and with that, probably taking the approach starting quarterbacks beat up a little bit. Had some other guys that I think they wanted to sit just in case they make those playoffs in FCS. But this is the quick game. And this is a nice job by Malachi Moore initially setting the edge out there. Chris Braswell in space, and he's able to clean things up. And this is going to be important moving forward because I think both with Auburn and especially Georgia, very adept Georgia is at working that quick game and those wide receiver screens. So you're going to have to not just be physical in your front 7 against a team like Georgia. You're going to have to continue to play like that on the outside. So a play later, we wanted to get that Chris Braswell tackle in on Senior Day because that was about the extent of the statistical production for Chris, other than this penalty, which this is very interesting to say the least. I talked about this on Instant Analysis. I've seen a lot of ways to go at Alabama's edge defenders. I haven't really seen this one. Nothing to a back. Pass protection slides away from Chris Braswell, and he's left with a free run at Schomburg, and bam, that is a huge hit. And here comes not one, but 2 flags. And I know some Alabama fans are going to say, well, this is pretty much the same hit that Dallas Turner put on Jaden Daniels. I think the initial contact, though, a little bit higher than what you saw with Jaden Daniels against LSU. Jaden got the blow more so in the chest to start with from Dallas Turner. Chris Braswell right here, anytime you see that initial contact and that head does that, it's probably going to be targeting, and it's probably going to stand up to review. And for Chris Braswell, that's exactly what happened on Saturday. A little bit later, a 4th and 9 for Tennessee Chattanooga, and they're going to punt the football. You got Kool-Aid McKinstry back deep, and you can see here, heels on the 10, right? In this situation, it is a long punt, though, by Tennessee Chattanooga. So it does force Kool-Aid to back up, and he's going to end up catching that at his own 3-yard line, and he's going to make a first guy miss. Justice Haynes down there doing a pretty good job. It was a little close to a grab, but no flag there. Here comes Terrion Arnold, who continues to do a underrated job in these situations, if you ask me. You can see Q Robinson right here. He's not quite able to get his guy coming down in coverage, and that's going to be the guy who forces the fumble right there. Ball comes out. Fortunately for Alabama, it is a very heads-up Jalen Milroe who jumps on that loose ball, and Alabama maintains possession. Here you see Kool-Aid again. It's fine right here. You know, may not like the decision to catch it inside the 5, but there comes the strip, and there is Miller right there to fall on it for Alabama. And now you got Nick Saban basically counting the mistakes that he has for Kool-Aid McKinstry on that return, starting with catching the football inside his own 5-yard line. This is what I like about Jam Miller recovering that fumble. He gets the football a couple plays later. Now, it came a result of maybe an equipment malfunction to Roydell Williams, who had been in the game on first down and carried for 3 yards. But Jam Miller, once again, ready when his number is called. It is a 2nd and 7 run. There you see J.C. Latham and Jaden Roberts doing a pretty good job on the right side. Jaden sealing things off down. There's Malik Benson, who continues to show up in some positive ways as a blocker, does a pretty good job. And then right here, Jam makes the cut and still works his way through contact for an extra 7 or 8 yards. More good stuff from Jam Miller. Now you get into this fake toss into the boundary that has become sort of a staple of the Alabama playbook. And we go back to the Texas A&M game, and it didn't work out so well against the Aggies. Jalen floated one across the middle, got picked off in College Station, but since then they've stuck with it, and they have been rewarded for doing so. And it happened a couple of times on Saturday as well. So Alabama, off that fake toss into the boundary, now has 3 receivers working up top. And you see the corner for UTC kind of steps up to the back here. Well, you can see Jalen Hale back here behind it. And so does Jalen Milroe, who really rips this throw in here. The safety is closing quick, and Jalen Hale kind of makes a no-look catch because he knows that safety's coming too. Nice grab, nice ball involving the 2 Jalens, both from Texas, by the way. Watch this. He rips this in there. Watch the eyes of Jalen Hale right there. Yeah, I see you coming, but I'm still going to make the catch. And it's an explosive play for the Alabama offense. 3rd and 5 now for Alabama from the UTC 39-yard line. And again, it is 11 personnel. It's a straight give to Roydell. Nice job by Roydell there of being patient first and foremost, but then being decisive, making a couple of nice cuts to maximize the run. You'll see it more right here. Now, you got guys for UTC on a couple of these runs. They're slanting, taking some chances, as you would guess an FCS opponent would do. Right there, you see Jaden Roberts just take his guy down, and watch J.C. Latham account for his guy initially. Then he works up to this linebacker, and here comes Robbie Oots from across the formation. This is really well timed and executed. And also give Roydell credit right there on the cut, keeps his feet clean. That's a scenario where a lot of backs get caught up with one of their linemen's feet, one of the tight end's feet, and end up stumbling for a short gain. But Roydell not only successfully navigates that, he also puts a cut on an oncoming safety to turn this into an explosive run and finishes with power to cap it. So now 2nd and 7 for Alabama from the UTC 11-yard line. And this is a formation that's become a favorite of Alabama, and they'll use it in a couple different ways. Sometimes it'll be a tight end up here at this spot, but that's Kendrick Law. And we talked about how they can use him in some different ways based on his body type, based on his football strength, his functionality when it comes to strength. And you'll see it right here on this touchdown run by Roydell. Initially, as you saw Kendrick come across the formation, he picks that guy up with emphasis. Now you get some leakage right here, but Roydell is able to work through it. Malik Benson coming down from the top, another good job of blocking, not only blocking, but not holding, because that's easy to do in that situation. He doesn't do it. Roydell's able to get into the end zone. See it one more time right here. Kendrick with some impact there at the point of attack. You'll see this UTC lineman have an opportunity, not going to be able to do it with one arm. Malik does a nice job from the top, and it's a touchdown for Roy Dale Williams. Late in the first quarter, Chattanooga going to punt one more time. This time, look who's back deep on this punt. Not an easy opportunity for a first chance, and not exactly a 10 of 10 in terms of aesthetics, but Caleb Downs fields the kick successfully. And we saw him pretty much for the rest of the game back there, including a big one that we'll talk about coming up here in just a little bit. Alabama football, and here comes an explosive run for Jace McClellan. Once again, working between those tackles and some good stuff. I think you're going to come back and see Robbie Oots do a nice job. JC Latham, that right side, one more time. There you see Oots. There you see JC right here, washing down on his guy. Jaden Roberts doing a nice job as well. You've got, I think that's Tyler Booker, who maybe came around and kicked out on the backside or the play side end. And, see Jace kind of set it up nicely, a little move, subtle move in the hole. And now he's got a chance to split the safeties, but they get just enough of him to get him on the ground. So Alabama, once again, in a 1st and 10 from its own 45-yard line. And Jalen going to give it one more time. Split zone, duo. These are the kind of runs that Alabama has had a lot of success with here in the last month or so. There you see Oots again. There you see Law again. And also, this is CJ Dupree, who was lined up at that tight end spot on the right side. So he and JC do a good job of getting these guys inside. Oots has got his guy right here. And Jam is going to set this thing up nice, a little subtle feint there to the inside. And then he's got that juice, Jam Miller. He's able to turn that into a big, big play. So now if you're UTC, you've been getting hit with this split zone or some duo, just interior runs in general. So you're thinking, here comes 45 again across the formation. He's about to tee up this end, but no, Oots is going to slip out into the flat off play action. You see Malik Benson right there in blocking mode before the ball comes out. Looks like Oots catches it behind the line of scrimmage. It's sort of bang, bang. Oots is able to turn the corner at that point. And the first touchdown grab of Robbie Oots's Alabama career right there as Alabama extends its big lead. As you see it one more time, simple throw, simple catch, and that's a big dude who's pretty athletic getting into the end zone. Nice play right here from Christian Story, who you see in this spot at the safety position. Again, no Jalen Key on Saturday, so an opportunity for Christian Story, for Trey Amos as that third corner. Again, we saw a lot of Devontae Smith in the game Saturday. So here you go. You're going to watch Story. Terrion Arnold's got his guy manned up. So Story doesn't have to worry about that. Arnold's running with this guy. You've got Malachi Moore rotating over the top here. Here is Caleb Downs, and Story's going to be able to jump this thing. Does it well right there. Jumps in front for that interception. You'll see it again right there. It's a nice catch by the veteran Christian Story. Wanted to show this field goal because I like what Will Riker did here. Ball is actually at the UTC 32-yard line. But James Burnip is going to put this baby down right on the 40 because if you go by sort of the textbook special teams rule of thumb, it's that the snap is 7 yards from snapper to holder. But I've always thought, why not go back a extra half yard or a full yard, especially on kicks of distance? But also, if I'm a kicker, if we're going to spot this thing at the 39, why not just put it at the 40? That way we get a 50-yarder. And Will Reichard, in his final game at Bryant-Denny Stadium, this one is pure because see that slower rotation? When a kicker gets that good end over end, but it's slower and not spinning as fast, that is the sign of a significantly well-struck kick. How about the catch back here by this guy in the hat? Fan of the week right there on second watch. Nonchalance it, and then he's got his stuff together because he's left-handed as he throws it back. So everything looking good for Alabama with 3:49 left in the second quarter. Sharp performance for the most part to this point, but you're going to see at least two gaps missed, I would think, on this touchdown run for UTC. Now, you see Alabama's alignment defensively. This is a safety coming over with the H. You've got Tim Smith on what is going to be the play side eye of the center. But as we run this thing and we watch Trez Marshall and the approach he takes, and then the job that the center is going to do on Jahad Campbell, this thing just opens wide open. We'll look at it a couple times probably. But you see it at the snap, and you've got some quarterback action off of the give that seems to hold a couple of guys. And when that happens, and you see again, Trez Marshall out here, Jahad Campbell blocked, Tim Smith ends up over here after being on the play side eye of the center. Kind of a dangerous block in here, too, on Damon Payne. He gets a little bit of a cut there. You didn't think that would be as much of an issue without a academy offense taking you on this week, but this thing just opens wide open. Christian Story's in man coverage down here, so he's in full-on survival mode once the back gets into the secondary, and it's a touchdown for UTC. Watch it again now. This is Tim Smith at the snap. See where he is? Watch Trez Marshall, and then watch this center. Does a nice job. But Smith will reset back to the left. Watch. See him stand up? And it's like he's looking at the quarterback for that split second. You've got that covered with Justin Aboigbe right here. But now you've got a lot of room to work there in the hole. That's a good job again by the center for UTC. He gets up onto Campbell with ease, and this is going to be a touchdown for the Mocs. You know who likes it? T.O. How about Terrell Owens on the Chattanooga sideline Saturday? T.O. of Alexander City. Benjamin Russell alum. Terrell Owens. He's been around the Alabama program in the past. T.O.'s kind of like that coach we all had in high school, or we called him a coach, but he only showed up on game days, but he always dressed to the hilt. Like he had all the team gear, even though he was only there on game days. In high school, we called that coach Coach Friday. But what about those famous alumni at UTC? Terrell Owens, Samuel L., and Usher? Yeah, that's a pretty strong big three for any school out there. So Alabama looking to respond up 31-7 with 3:22 left in the first half. And here you go, more of that interior run game. Chattanooga brings the star defender right there on a blitz. He runs right by it. Kind of beat Jaden Roberts there to the point, but Jaden gets wide enough, and this guy is coming so hard, he's not going to be able to make the tackle. And here you come with another tight end wrapping around with that guard. That's a really nice block by CJ Dupree. And even with it, Jace has got to work through some initial contact. He does that successfully, and he is off to the races, or at least off to the sideline. Malik Benson, one more time, with a good job downfield, helping to create an extra 7 or 8 yards. You'll see it right here. Watch CJ Dupree. Then you also got a double working right here with Darian Dalcourt in the game to go along with J.C. Latham. Get a good job right here by Caden Proctor down the field. Beat the initial contact, and now you got an opportunity with Benson doing some good stuff for another explosive in the run game. 1st and 10 for Alabama from the Tennessee Chattanooga 20 and a half, I guess we'll call it. And here you go again with that short toss fake into the boundary. And this time, the problem for Chattanooga is it's not 3 guys out in the route, it's 4, because you're going to run Bond there in the middle of the field on a little bit of a post, and you've got CJ Dupree running a bit of a wheel concept with the back out here, and Malik Benson is working free down the upper sideline. This safety right here is in a tough spot because he's attracted to Bond here, which leaves Benson wide open for the touchdown. Malik Benson getting into the end zone. Nice job by Jalen Milroe. That's a first half line that'll work most weeks, right? 13 of 16, 10 for 10 to start the game. 197 and 3 tutties for Jalen Milroe on Saturday, and that'll be enough. But again, you see it. This safety down here, he goes to Bond. And when he does that, That's going to leave the wide open hole shot to Malik Benson. Had this covered up okay with the tight end, but you had the back in the flat. Our Malik Benson, Jalen takes Benson, and it's a touchdown. Speaking of explosive plays in the passing game, early in the third quarter here, Alabama going to bring a couple of guys. Alabama didn't have a sack in the game Saturday. I've been asked about that. Well, Chattanooga wasn't going to have a first-time starter at quarterback sitting back there for 3+ seconds. He already saw what happened to him with Chris Braswell early in the game. But I'm wondering if this was a bust in terms of execution, because it's hard to imagine Alabama bringing the slot corner in Terrion Arnold and the safety from the other side, and you're in this type of technique against an inside receiver up top. But watch it as it plays out. Here comes Arnold off the left tackle for UTC. Then you got Devontae Smith in here. And look at what you got up here now. You got a lot of green, and you've got Caleb Downs playing outside technique on this slot receiver. So this is an easy throw and catch and run. And give Caleb Downs a lot of credit one more time for a hustling stop that ultimately proves important, because Alabama's able to get this thing to 3rd and goal. And we talked about earlier on the Braswell hit how UTC didn't account for an edge guy. And it happens once again. And this is interesting because Chattanooga is actually in an unbalanced line to Q Robinson. This is a tight end up here at tackle. This is a guard. This is a center, guard, tackle, another tackle right here. And as we play it out, Q Robinson is going to be untouched with no back to his side. So that allows for the penetration. Give Schomburg some credit this time. Used a little bit of a ball fake, but in doing so, messed up the timing just enough that you see Caleb Downs driving up on this receiver, makes a nice play on the pass breakup. But again, we'll see it from the back. There you go. That's a tight end right here. This is a guard. This is an extra tackle, and no one takes Q Robinson. Look, Alabama's not complaining. Get off the field on 3rd down inside the red zone as Q kind of forces that late throw, and Downs is able to break it up. So with Jalen Milroe out of the game, it's Ty Simpson time with 10:13 left in the third quarter. You've got off coverage down here to the bottom of the field. You got Isaiah Bond working from a slot. This is Roydell Williams right here on the arrow. So Roydell's not really in the route unless he's essentially uncovered. So what you'll see Roydell do is he kind of understands that based on this coverage, he's going to transition to blocker mode pretty quick. Ty does what he needs to do, gets the ball out quick there, takes the easy money. And we know Isaiah Bond isn't getting out of bounds. He's going to stay in bounds and take on dudes. So Bond is able to convert that for a first down there with Roydell split out. Now you got a 1st and 10 for Alabama. Here comes Nyblack across the formation. This is a nice job by the left side of the Alabama offensive line, and also the patience right there by Roydell to get up into the hole before making his decision. And these inside zones, these duo runs that Tommy Rees likes a lot, they put those inside linebackers in a position of having to commit. And when they commit, the back is able to work off of that. And that's what you see from Roydell right there. What about this at the end of the play? Was this Roydell trying to throw a Derrick Henry right here? Maybe a Najee Harris? Yeah, it didn't work as well for Roydell, but another chunk run for number 5. 2nd and 15 for Alabama now from the UTC 32. Right here, you will see Ty Simpson off of play action. And again, another one of those plays where protection is everything. And you've got essentially a 5-man protection with Justice Haynes swinging out of the backfield to the top. Really nice job in pass pro here. And that gives Ty Simpson the time he needs and helps create that expansive window, because as you sit in there and your receivers get into their routes and threaten the intermediate to deeper areas of the field, a lot of green presents itself. Ty gets it to Kendrick Law here. Kendrick doing what he does with strength. Looks like initially that he gets in, but you'll see it right here on the pylon cam. Man, that ankle didn't look good there for a second, did it? The knee will go down right there, and he's a little bit short. at the half-yard line. But what that does is set up this for Justice Haynes, his first touchdown as a member of the Alabama Crimson Tide, off of right guard there. And Justice Haynes is into the end zone. Again, that 14 personnel. Alabama likes those 4 tight ends down there inside the 5. Chattanooga going to punt it. Caleb Downs, as we know, back deep now. And it's almost too good of a punt. And you'll see in terms of Alabama's return unit, Chattanooga had 2 gunners down to the bottom. They had essentially a slot gunner, and they also had a wide gunner. And Devontae Smith isn't quite able to get this guy. This is the inside guy. But the punt is deep enough that Downs has that little bit extra time. Good job right here by Terrion Arnold getting into position to help create this thing. But with Devontae not able to get this guy, now Downs has got to make at least one guy miss. And he does it right here with a little pirouette. And there's Arnold in good shape. You'll also see Justin Jefferson right here. Does a pretty good job right there. And now it's essentially Caleb Downs and the punter. And I think I know who I like in that scenario. Watch Caleb here as he gets inside the 30, throws up what? That's the Tyreek Hill. Peace out, right? Gone. Nice move once again right here. As Devontae has the best seat in the house. The best thing Devontae does on this is he doesn't block in the back. He doesn't hold, and he kind of stays out of the way and lets Caleb Downs, as the kids like to say, cook. Jake Pope right here doing a pretty good job. Emmanuel Henderson right here helping to create the cup. And now you got this poor dude, and he knows what's coming because it's going to be one move and getting crossed up. Nick didn't like this too much either. The ball kind of out prime style from back in the day. But impressive play. Another one from the true freshman in Caleb Downs. So now you've got UTC with the football late in the third quarter. Here comes some high motion from the boundary, and the Mocs are going to run speed option back into it. Now, we had some fun with Devontae Smith on the punt return, but watch him right here. He'll beat this block. Jamarian Latham, the end, plays this nicely too. He basically played both guys, especially with the boundary there to help you. But Devontae Smith does a nice job beating the block there and stopping that option attempt for no gain. Ty Simpson in there, and here comes pressure against that second team offensive line. As you run it here, you see Elijah Pritchett at a tackle. You'll see Terrence Ferguson in the game, James Brockermeyer, Ola Salinen, Miles McVeigh. But here comes the pressure. You got Amari Nyblack down here short of the sticks. You got to get 9 yards on this third down. So even if you get it to Nyblack here, maybe he turns and picks it up. I wouldn't bet against him, but you can see the shadow of the defensive back. He's in the vicinity. And Ty decides he's going to show you he's got some wheels of his own. And these defensive backs for Chattanooga are probably thinking, this guy isn't going to beat us to the edge and then outrun us. But a good job by Kendrick Law all the way down the field. This is why Nick Saban loves Kendrick Law, this right here. Emmanuel Henderson down there as well. But, oops, watch this right. You can see it coming out. It's out at the half-yard line. Ty Simpson, with what would have been a 79-yard touchdown run, turns into a 78-yard pickup. How about that discussion right there? You ever had one like that? Yeah, I've had a few. Not with that guy, but fortunately for Alabama, it maintains possession. I'll tell you who was happy about that play was Richard Young, another true freshman running back, because he comes into the game and he's going to get his first touchdown. Nice job once again by Robbie Oots. And this backside linebacker tries to come over and fill, but Young has some pop to him. Yeah, it's an FCS team. I understand that. But for a true freshman, Young can get behind his pads and finish with authority there for the score. All right, so now you're getting into the midway point of the fourth quarter. And on defense, that means a lot of twos and threes starting to mix in here as well. You got Anquin Barnes, you got Edric Hill, Jordan Renaud at a defensive end spot. Pretty good job here by Keanu Coot, the outside linebacker right here. Sets a nice edge, forces it back inside. Not only that, gets off the block and makes the initial contact. There's Barnes, there's Renaud, there's Tony Mitchell, there's Jake Pope. There's Devontae Smith playing some star position. There's James Smith. There's Jeremiah Alexander getting some run at inside linebacker. So if you wanted to see the next wave, you got a good chance to do that on Saturday. Speaking of next wave, you probably wanted to see Dylan Lonergan, who entered the game with 5:50 left, or right around 6 minutes left in the game. And Dylan's going to get to throw it around a little bit. I don't know if this route concept went exactly the way Alabama draws it up. As you'll see here, you got Danny Lewis here and Jaron Hamilton pretty much in the same area. But on a 2nd and 9, Lonergan, with the first completion of his Alabama career, is a little square out to the tight end, Danny Lewis. And what you like about Lonergan, too, is he's a competitive dude. So it's a 3rd and 4, and this has the feel of a zone give. Here comes Ty Lockwood, another true freshman across the formation. Going to maybe just give it right here on 3rd and 4. No, Lonergan's keeping it. He's got a couple of blockers out in front. You'll see Cole Adams engage his guy. Lockwood, not as successful right here on his guy, but Lonergan's a good enough athlete with enough strength that he's able to get just to the line to gain there. You can see Ty Lockwood. He's not very happy with himself, but it's all right. Got to the mark, and it's a fresh set of downs for the Alabama offense. Here's Lonergan again. Things you like about Lonergan, too, are like this. He's going to work the quick game, the quick throw to the hitch, and you see Cole Adams just starting to get his head around. Look at where Dylan Lonergan is with the football. On time, good ball placement, where it needs to be against a defender that's coming downhill. Adams able to make the catch. It's a short gain. It's just a few little things, but you continue to like what you see from Dylan Lonergan. You also like what you continue to see from this run game and these young backs. Here's Justice Haynes one more time. Got Rock Montgomery in the game at left guard. Now watch Rock here. Watch what he does. This is a nice job. You pull Olasolinen from the right guard position. You bring Danny Lewis from the backside behind him. So you're down blocking to the play side with Wilkin Formby at left tackle and Rock Montgomery at left guard. Watch Montgomery right here. This is nice. Repositions that defensive tackle there. Now you got Lewis pulling around. It's a good job by Formby down here. Your interior guys are all in pretty good shape. Right there, Lewis does a good job. And now you get into the back end and a really nice cut by Justice Haynes. Shaz Preston in there at wide receiver. Right here, you worry about Cole Adams with a little bit of a don't grab. Let's go just enough. And Haynes is able to finish in the end zone. That's another touchdown. Here you see it again. Rock Montgomery pushing his guy out. Olasolinen with a really nice seal block back to the inside. And there's Formby as Haynes starts to set it up and cut it to the sideline and get into the end zone one more time. 2:25 left in the game. We'll give you one more defensive clip before we get out of here. It's just a basic inside run. But again, you like to see the young guys, see who's out there. Bray Hubbard's in there now at a safety position. Sean Murphy at linebacker. Des Ricks, Antonio Kite, those guys at corner. There's James Smith. Keanu Coate continues to be out there along with Edric Hill. But good job by the 2s and 3s as they got opportunities on Saturday as well. And with that, it's a wrap for the latest edition of Second Watch right here on the YouTube and podcast homes for BamaOnLine.com. Stay with us at BOL, continuing coverage of Alabama football, Alabama hoops, and certainly recruiting as well. The Roundtable, the perfect place to post up with us. If you haven't subscribed to our video home here on YouTube, that subscribe button should be right there. If you would hit that, turn on those notifications, you'll get all of our video content as it drops. Thanks again for tuning in to Second Watch. And until next time, so long, everybody.